Today, we are talking about strength for the fight, and we're going to be looking at Psalm 18, verse 39, which says, "You armed me with strength for the battle. You humbled my opponents before me." So let's just be real for a second. Have you ever felt like you're in a battle that's just draining everything you've got? Maybe you're a student, it's the end of the semester, deadlines are just piling up, and you are running on fumes. That temptation to just give up, to coast, it's real, and it really does feel like a fight. And you know what? The Bible shows us this is not some new, modern feeling. Not at all. Thousands of years ago, King David knew exactly what it was like to be in a fight that went on way longer than his own strength could last. But his response, which we get to see in Psalm 18, isn't just about digging deeper or trying harder. It's something else entirely. Okay, so that brings us to our first big lesson from this psalm. We have to figure out the true source of our strength. See, when David felt completely worn out, he didn't look inside himself for more grit. He looked up. He looked to a God who arms his people for the very specific battle they're facing. David's whole testimony, his whole victory song, it starts right here. I want you to notice who gets all the credit. It all kicks off with this foundational claim. It is God who arms me with strength and keeps my way secure. He's basically saying that the power just to keep moving forward, that comes from God. And he doesn't stop there. He builds on it. It's not just about brute force. David says God gives him agility, stability, making his feet like the feet of a deer, so he can find his footing in those dangerous high places. He's crediting God for helping him navigate tough challenges with grace. And then he gets even more practical. He trains my hands for battle. I mean, think about that for a second. Even the specific skill, the actual training, the how-to of the fight, David says God taught me that. He wasn't some born warrior. He was equipped by God. So here's the absolute crucial point, the main takeaway from all this. David traces every single ability he has, his physical strength, his agility, his battlefield skills, all of it, back to one single source, God. That's a total perspective shift. It moves from "I've got this" to "He enables me to do this." Now, when you really start to get this, it leads to this amazing paradox. It's a blend of two things that seem like they shouldn't go together, but they actually work perfectly: humility and confidence. So here's how this plays out. On the one hand, when you realize that every good thing you can do is a gift from God, well, that produces a deep humility, right? Because you didn't earn it. But at the exact same time, it creates this unshakable confidence because the all-powerful God who gave you those gifts is the one who's going to sustain them. All right, let's build on that for our second big lesson. This one totally reframes the entire fight. We're moving from thinking about the source of our strength to thinking about the outcome of the battle. And to do that, we have to look at a greater David. At the very end of the psalm, David closes with this powerful declaration. Now, pay super close attention to the words he uses here: king, anointed, and descendants forever. David is celebrating his own victory, for sure, but he's also pointing to a promise that stretches way beyond his own lifetime. And this is just brilliant because it highlights a key theme that runs all through the Bible. That term, anointed one, which is Messiah in Hebrew, the New Testament makes it crystal clear that this finds its ultimate fulfillment in Jesus. He is the true Son of David, the one true anointed king that this promise was really all about. So what in the world does that have to do with your final exam or that tough project at work? Oh, it means everything. It means you are not some soldier fighting desperately for victory that might not even happen. No, instead, you are a servant of the king who has already won the ultimate victory. You fight from a position of victory, not for it. The risen King, Jesus, whose victory was sealed at the resurrection, he is the one arming you for whatever you're walking into today. Okay, so this theology is great, but how does it actually change the way you attack that to-do list? Let's get super practical with a battle plan you can use today. All right, first, based on that lesson that God is our strength, before you even open your laptop, ask him to train your hands for the task. Second, be honest with yourself. Identify where you're just grinding it out in your own power and consciously hand that striving over to him. And third, work hard, be faithful, but then let it go. Entrust the final result to the one who's actually in control. And from that second lesson about fighting from victory, here are some key mindset shifts. You got to constantly remind yourself, I fight from victory, not for it. Then ask God to arm you for the specific challenge you're facing right now. And see that promise of unfailing love in verse 50? That's your promise because you're in Christ. So finally, you can finish your week strong, not to prove anything, but just as a simple act of faithfulness to your King. So, after all this, when the pressure is really on, when you feel totally depleted, what is the one thing you need to remember? Fight faithfully. That's it. The outcome? It's already secure. The strength? It's being provided. Your job is simply to be faithful in the fight.